resistance as there is still an opening, a narrow opening, and you can feel the air flowing through and makes contact. The difference between a resistance, point of contact, and a complete stop. Stop, buildup of subclottic pressure. Resistance, but still be able to go through. So, a lot of you have been asking me to go further in depth when explaining the idea of vocal cord adduction, or in other words, vocal cord closure, which is the cords coming together firmly, optimally, specifically on the thin edge as they vibrate. This would be the opposite of abducting, which is the vocal cords coming apart. So a very simple way for me to explain this idea is think of the vocal tract, this tube, this valve, as a pathway, and the vocal cords coming together and closing, adducting, is a door that opens and closes that pathway. Thankfully, we have a door right here. So this is the vocal tract open as we pass through, and this is the vocal tract closed. The door in this case are the vocal cords. Anytime we phonate, the vocal cords aren't in a static or stagnant position. They are vibrating in any sort of phonation, whether it's breathy, whether it's grunty, whether it's tenseful or relaxed. They are vibrating at hundreds and hundreds of times per second. Any basic phonation requires air, which we initiate that air pressure, that escape, that release of pressurized air when we exhale. I'm exhaling. But I'm not exhaling lazily. No, I'm exhaling with intention, like an aspiration. That intentional release of air is going to meet the vocal cords. If the vocal cords are flimsy and open, we get Obviously, we never want to go to the extremes. We never want to go too breathy, in which the vocal cords are more open than they are closed, and the vocal cords themselves, the muscle, the vocalis, is loose instead of firm. There is no resistance here. In this case, the air just passes through with no problem. Since there is no resistance, there is no ability to support that air with the diaphragm. It's just we're just passing through. We also don't want to completely stop the air and use the vocal cords as a dam and stop it. This would be the extreme valsalva. This is a block. There is no coming out. There's a buildup of subglottic pressure. Just like I am putting pressure on the door, air will put pressure underneath the vocal cords, and that will tire you. What we want is a resist. The vocal cords create a resist. The air makes contact with the vocal cords that have a narrow escape. They're come together on the thin edge. The thin edge. Thin. Not open, not completely closed. Thin edge to create a very narrow escape. And as the vocal cords are vibrating on that thin edge, it creates a point of contact for the air. We are contacting and we're going through. The air is not stopped, and yet the air also doesn't just go through without any resistance. It goes through with resistance. There's a contact. The air continues flowing. It makes contact with vocal cords that are well adducted, creates a vibration. That vibration bounces off the open acoustical space you have to create to elongate the vocal tract and have a place for the sound to bounce off and resonate before shooting out to the audience. So it's not. It's also not. It's Think of a yawn, but with closed vocal cords. Think of falsetto, but with firmness in the vocal cords. So I hope that was a fun way of explaining sort of the idea. Obviously, there's more anatomical and physiological things happening than just a door opening and closing. We initiate the beginning of the adduction. We must initiate that. And as the air flows through, the Bernoulli effect comes into play, and it creates a suction so that the air, as it's flowing, maintains the cords well adducted. And we don't have to think about adduction anymore or cord closure anymore. We just think, open my instrument, my acoustical space. I take in my air, I inhale, and then I begin and start the airflow. And I no longer have to think about I think of that once at the beginning, and then I just exhale. I keep the air flowing. I don't stop the air. It's like doing on the closure. It's that bicycle analogy. It's that beginning press of the pedal, and then we go. And then the bicycle rides itself. Keep the air moving. Keep the air flowing. It's that beginning adduction, that beginning contact with the air. And then the air goes. And then you're not riding. Don't hit the brakes on the air. If you hit the brakes like you would hit the brakes in a bicycle, you are starting the bicycle, hitting the brakes. Starting the bicycle, hitting the brakes. And you're constantly singing with that initial effort. No. Start and go and go and go and go and go and go. Same idea. This sound, because it's making contact with the vocal cords, creates a pressure underneath the vocal cords, which also equalizes over time above the vocal cords. So we don't feel a sense of fatigue. We don't feel fatigue because the pressure's equalized. But not only that, now we have a resist to the exhalation. So we can support the sound. It's no longer, I can't support that sound because all the air is rushing out of the cords. There's no resistance. Think of yourself as a pressure tank. You are releasing a steady stream of air, and the only way to do that is to resist the ascension of the diaphragm and the collapse of the intercostals. Stay upright. Prepare yourself. Make contact and release air in a steady stream, like a hose that has the nozzle pinched. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, subscribe, become a CTS member, as there are lots of benefits and you get priority in things such as comments and member-only videos. The next couple of videos will be live streams, so become a member to join us and interact. Ask your questions for me and for my guests. As always, keep studying, keep practicing. The work continues. Ciao, ciao for now.